Friend of mine. And since he met me, he's gone on to star and produce such films as One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, China Syndrome, Romancing the Stone, Jewel of the Nile. Please welcome Michael Douglas. Now,
yeah, I couldn't decide, you know, I got one hand going here, the other hand was in the pocket going money, you know, so.
Half capitalist, right? Half and half. Listen, I want to ask you something. You know, we met a long time ago. You were like this good-looking guy flopping around this pool in this bad motel. I was in that bad motel. You knew I was going to make it, didn't you, Michael?
I thought the same thing about, I did, pal.
Yeah, you knew,
You felt
right?
the same thing, didn't you?
I know. I looked at that guy in the pool and I said, he's going to make it to the end of this pool.
No, the truth is, you know, I mean, we're looking all right. You know, we start looking, everybody's, but I mean, we both were walking around there looking like we should have gotten off in Miami. Right. Somehow we ended up in
but we knew.
L.A., but we knew.
We knew.
We weren't so sure up in San Francisco.
Yeah, right. Oh, geez, I did some bad gigs. I remember one gig I told Steve Martin, I said, they steal things here. They took his white suit.
Right.
Is that kind of bad? They were bad places.
I went up, David and I met around this motel in L.A., and I remember I was up in San Francisco doing the streets, and you were doing a show there, and I caught like the early show, which is like the wrong show to see a comic like at 6 o'clock in the evening. You know, it's a little rough. But you were great. We were sitting there going, yo, David, go, baby. Yeah, he's good, isn't he? He's good.
Yeah, two fans. Now, you took, you know that whole thing when One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, what's really great about it is your dad had that property, he did it on Broadway, and he was ready to discard it, right?
Yeah, yeah. Well, he had, actually, you know, Dad found Cuckoo's Nest when it was still in galley forms, which means before the book ever even came out, and it was his return to Broadway, and he had not done theater like in 20 years, and that was his return. Well, I think the play was really ahead of its time and didn't work out, and it ran about 6 or 7 months, and not long enough to be a big enough hit to kind of get a picture going. So after that, he was trying for a number of years to get the financing together to make the picture. Meanwhile, I was in college, and the book had become like required reading in every freshman English lit course, you know. And when I got out of school and had a little lull in my career, I was an actor, and said, you know, I know you're trying to sell that book. You know, give me a chance to see if I can run with it. And I think he was being a nice dad. He said, sure, son, you know.
Forget it.
But take a chance, be good, give it a chance. And it took about 5 years, but it really totally turned my whole career around, because up until then, I had never thought about being a producer. It was nothing I thought about.
And you took 5 Oscars with that, right?
Yeah, yeah, we got Best Picture and Best Actor.
And that's that was like... You know, but you know what's interesting is that Jack Nicholson, a little bit I know of him, you know, a little bit of time I spent with him. He's a little weird. I mean, he's a great actor. Jack Nicholson's a little weird. He must have really, did he like fit in with everybody there? And
well, it was funny. We took a long, because Jack was doing a picture before this. It went late, so we had to wait to shoot. So we cast the picture, and the cast was very interesting, and, you know, interesting group. We put them all together, and we were rehearsing at this mental hospital up in Oregon. He comes up a few days later. We start doing rehearsal with all these people. We break for lunch, and we're in the cafeteria in this mental hospital for lunch, and finally I see him put the plate away. He gets up, he goes outside, and, oh, gee, I got my first problem with my star. I said, what's it? And I said, who are these people? I said, what do you mean? I mean, they don't stop. I mean, it's lunchtime. Are they actors or are they patients? I mean, lunch is coming, nobody breaks character. They're all, you know, these guys are all into their character. And it was that kind of atmosphere, that kind of ambiance, I think, that helped make the picture such a success.
Now, you had China Syndrome, which really was, you know, so, because of what happened with it and all. Did you know I was in China Syndrome? No, I'm serious now. Don't mess around. No, come on, man. I'm serious. Did you know I was in the movie? Oh, you don't know I was in your movie?
Were you the syndrome?
No, I wasn't a syndrome, and I wasn't shining. I'm going to tell you, there's a scene in there where they break away from inside with Jack Lemmon inside. They break away to the mobile unit outside. They got a bunch of TV screens, right?
Yeah, I was in that scene.
Right, I was too. On one of those screens is me from the Magnificent Marvel Machine quiz show.
Oh, you're kidding. Hey, all right. Let's hear it, huh? I know it. You brought, there was something special about that scene.
It turned the whole movie after that scene, like, turned. And happened. Now, that movie was wild because you did that movie and then 3 Mile Island melted down.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like such a parallel. Didn't that freak you out when you saw that happening? Because the words everybody was saying, everything was like the same as the movie.
I got religious. I did. I truly, I got very religious after. I mean, as a matter of fact, I was looking at a poster. Talk about similarities. There was a poster of the picture I was looking at a few weeks ago, and the copy on the poster was The China Syndrome, which the studio hated the title. And the copy was, "Only now a few people know, soon you will know," or something to that effect. And then you start looking at lines in the script, like when, in the movie, when we were explaining the China Syndrome, and how much it would devastate. They said it would devastate an area the size of Pennsylvania. It's in the script. And then the ultimate thing was that we had spent a lot of time choreographing the actual accident on a computer, what they call an event recorder, which tells what happens. And we had a lot of expert advice that came in and told us the most likely scenario of events that would happen for an accident. And the biggest thing to me was that when you lay out the sequence of events at the 3 Mile Island plant in Harrisburg and ours are almost exactly the same. And that really was a turning point where a lot of people who believed that nuclear power was the answer to the future, at that time, I think 55% of the country was in favor of nuclear power. Right. And after the movie in 3 Mile Island, it reversed 45 to 55. So it was like a 10% swing, which if you're running for election, that's what you want. You know?
Yeah, right. That's so wild that you did that.
Yeah, so it was an extraordinary experience.
Because after Bambi, we had a lot of deer stuff in the woods near our house. Same thing happened. We'll be right back in a few minutes. Welcome back. We're here, Michael Douglas, George Preston, Nightlife Band. You know, Michael, you've done so many movies and all now, Fatal Attraction, you knew when you're working on, but it all started streets in San Francisco. That's where the whole thing. Now, you must have, I don't know how you felt the day that you walked on that set and met, like, Carl Malden. I mean, he's a big star. That must have been like, did you ever have that first day?
Yeah, I was really impressed. Started looking at all the pictures he did with Brando and all that, and he was kind of looking at me. And you know you're going to be together for a long time, more than you are with your wife or anything, and we were shooting the first day and feeling each other out. We were running out of light. And all of a sudden they came out and said, quick, we got to get a shot. I want you guys jumping in the cop car. I want you to go down on top of, by the Fairmont Hotel. And I said, put the gumball on top. You go right and you go down over this hill. Okay, come on, we're running out of light. So I jump in the car, and at that time I was racing cars. I was racing, you know, Formula cars, and Carl gets in it. And they go, okay, ready, go, action. I go around the corner, get the gumball up on top, make the corner around the Fairmont. We go off the hill, and all I know is I got enough time in the air. And I look over at Carl Malden.
You're getting a pilot's license.
I got a pilot. We're flying. We're going airborne. It's just silent. Just silent. I'm looking over at him, and he's looking at me. His eyes, you know, because Carl always got those blue eyes. Don't look at the nose. Don't look at the nose. Look at the eyes. You know, he's always doing that. You know, so I'm looking at him and going, fine. Thank God I got the wheels straight. You know, we get to a stop. He goes, that's not driving. That's theatrical driving. That's not driving. I think, oh man, my career's over here. The series is over. He starts, that's it, I've had it. Now I'm going back and change my underwear, and I'll see you. And he was great after that. He,
seat.
I gotta sit down.
Now sit
I
down.
always know where I'm going.
Sit down.
I'm going
That's it, yeah, sit down. Come on, sit down here, sit down.
Oh, God.
Never mind.
Well, they
Now.
told me, man.
Now.
Don't look at me. Look at the eyes. Look at the eyes. Don't look at me. Look at the eyes.
Oh, God.
Was that it? Is that the way he was?
That's right. I keep saying to him, I says, what the hell are we doing up here?
Oh, what a nice surprise. Jesus.
For me, too.
Oh,
Believe
God.
me.
I saw you were so sweet. They had an award ceremony for my father recently, and a whole bunch of people were there, and they're announcing, and you couldn't see who was there. And you were so sweet. And Carl got up, and I was doing, you pointed over there, and I appreciate it. I love this man. I really do. He's very...
Everything that this young man has and will achieve, he deserves. He's one of the best young men I've ever acted with. And if you think Cuckoo's Nest was easy to get on, it wasn't. Because the fourth year, he was doing streets, and at the same time, he had gotten some money from someone in San Francisco.
Right, Saul Zantz.
Saul. And he used to come in sometimes excited because he had the money. And the next day he'd come in, and I knew he was up all night because the money had been taken back. So it was back, and his eyes were red, back and forth. And I kept saying, now look, you can do the movie, but don't let the streets of San Francisco suffer because that's my living too. And he didn't.
Oh, that's great.
You're wonderful.
Well, you are.
This is a mutual club we have.
This is your life. Look, Carl.
I'm going to tell the Kirk Douglas story. You see, many years ago, many years ago, his father, Kirk, came to a summer stock place, Tamarack Playhouse, right out of college, and I had been in New York already for a couple of years, so I was an old-timer. And his father came in and asked for advice, and I gave him advice. He played small parts, he built scenery, and we liked each other immediately because we were both sort of sports fans. We were jocks in some way. And we got to know each other quite well. We spent some time in New York. Kirk comes out to California, stayed there for some 25, 30 years. I still stayed in New York. And now, about 30 years later, I meet his son. Complete cycle.
Isn't that great?
I'm back with his father.
That's great. All right. We'll be back. We got only enough time for 2 words. Thank you and good night. That's it.
Some of the guests of Nightlife stay at the UN Plaza.